a lot of people, when they do shows on the internet, they put on this persona, this character. I don't. So what you see is what you get here. When I'm telling you that a show is unpleasant for me to do, it's genuine. It's not just the whole reviewer trope of, oh, I'm a reviewer and I must do these horrible things. No, this is real. I don't want to do this episode. I don't want to talk about this. But it's necessary. Now you know why this is not a fun episode. No matter what I say, I lose. I'm either going to be a misogynist pig who thinks that women shouldn't be in video games, or I'm a politically correct white knight who wants to kill all fun. I'm going to be discredited because I'm a guy, I'm a gamer, I'm not a real manly man, I couldn't possibly understand the issues because I'm not whatever. Look, either way, I can't win. So instead of trying to tiptoe around issues, I'm just going to point blank say it. There is a problem in how some gamers treat women who play and create video games. Emphasis on some gamers. Unfortunately for us, that some is also extremely vocal. But honestly, is this honestly a problem? Because I could say the same thing about anybody who's seen as a minority group online. I mean, hell, be a Bears fan in open chat and see how... Okay, that's a cheap shot, I admit that, but is it really a problem? Putting it bluntly, yes. I set up an experiment on World of Tanks. I made this account with a female name, but I still gave it kind of a combat pun name to fit in. Michelle Shocked. I just hoped that nobody was up on their 90s folk singers. Well, I played this account to about tier 3, and I was in fact messaged once by someone asking, "Are you a girl and would you be my girlfriend?" When I asked the women who I play with if this happens often, they said it does, and frankly I have no reason to doubt them. I can also point to another instance in DCUO where somebody approached my female tune and just point blank said, "You wanna fuck?" That's wonderfully subtle, yeah. Now for the record, playing my normal World of Tanks account for years, I have been messaged post-match 4 times. One time from a friend who I haven't seen in a decade, once from somebody imploring me to commit suicide because I shot him during a match, and 2 people requesting I perform an impossible act of self-copulation. Moving on though. Argue the rarity of this all you want. The fact is that in years of playing MMOs and online games, I have never been propositioned for sex while playing Velvel, or Spirit, or Kitra, or Ruckus, or in fact any other male avatar character, so even one incident is pretty significant. This isn't to mention the indirect stuff too, like this conversation in World of Tanks open chat. Way to stay classy, guys. Then there's this indirect stuff, like how female tunes' armor look. Now, for example, in DCUO. Here's some named sets of clothing for male and female tunes. This same one. You kind of see where I'm going with this. Misogyny. It's quite the strong word, isn't it? One thing I've noticed about internet comments is that every internet discussion is binary to the extreme. You're either extremely one way or extremely the other way. So, it doesn't matter how I answer this, I'm going to get hate comments either way. Now, I don't have a degree in this kind of stuff, but here's my opinion. I am not going to speak in absolutes, because if I do, someone will say, well, I'm not like that, so take this with that in mind. At best, stuff like this is insensitive or unintentional. At worst, yes, it's misogynistic, the way that some guys treat women in online gaming.
You get Miranda's thighs, and that's all you get. They are my Trojan horse, and that's what you get to look at all day.
That said, I honestly believe it's unfair to paint all of gaming culture as hating women. I realize the experiment was limited, but in the few weeks that I was playing as Michelle Shocked on World of Tanks, only one guy messaged me out of nowhere. This is out of literally hundreds of opponents and teammates, and I realize this is a limited experience, but it really told me that most people don't care, and if they did, they didn't say anything to my face about it. On the other hand, as I said before, the term gamer is an open term. Anyone can call themselves a gamer, and we can't dispute that. So basically this means that the community, by its very nature, has to acknowledge that gamer trolls are part of the community. But they're not representative of all of us. So my takeaway is that... Insert dismissive joke here. I can already hear the hate comments. Look, I'm not justifying their behavior. I'm explaining it for what it is. These people are a minority. A very vocal minority, but a minority nonetheless. The thing is that the rest of us gamers give these losers permission through silence. Not saying no is just as good as saying yes. This brings me dangerously close to being preachy here, but sometimes the obvious just needs to be said. There's something out there called the bystander effect. It's this phenomenon that the more onlookers there are to a situation, the less likely an individual is going to step in to help or just do the right thing. Nobody wants to break the herd. They figure somebody else is going to jump in, and more often than not, they don't. This happens in open world chats too. Now to be blunt, one person starts acting like a dick, and either people start nervously laughing, they ignore it, or they just chime in like they did here. However, all it takes is one voice to shut them down. It's a small thing, anybody can do it, just proportional response. Even saying something as simple as, dude, not cool, that's usually enough. And I realize that by saying this, I'm invoking the power of Nancy Reagan and Pee Wee Herman. There are a lot of other things that can be done, but it's kind of out of our hands as players. We kind of have to ask the game devs to do it on our behalf. And I can't imagine it's that much more difficult to, you know, add a couple more options. I want to hit the costume thing specifically because this is kind of exactly what I'm talking about. As you progress in levels in a game, oftentimes the armor pieces for guys get more bulky, and for women, they just get more skimpy. I've made this observation before, but not all women and men want to dress their tunes like extras in a music video.
Give me the girls with the bumps and a
Yeah, I'm invoking hammer time. Deal. This is the so-called chainmail bikini effect, and yeah, it turns a lot of women off of gaming because they don't want to dress their tunes like this. So what's wrong with an option that's less revealing? Not a replacement, an option. A lot of MMOs allow players to customize the look of their armor anyway, so what's the harm in a modest option? Then again, I'm also all for equality. Over on Secret World, there have a lot of guys who want skirts to be an option for male tunes to wear, and I'm all for that. Or how about the Hawken posters? This is exactly what I'm talking about. If you're going to make women's clothing sexy and revealing, make the same thing for the guys. There's a lot more things I could touch on, like the lack of female leads in AAA titles, but I don't want to get into that because that's a huge topic on its own. But for right now, how about if I just say this? It takes talent and skill to write a game that the gender of the main character really doesn't make a difference. And a few games like Mass Effect or Portal, they just nailed it. The best games can give players an option to play either gender without making it feel like a token choice. I want to emphasize that I'm talking about options, not replacement. I mean, hell, in MMOs that I play, gender is a toggle switch to begin with. There's already dozens of costumes out there to choose from. What's the difference in adding just one more that's more adventuring practical rather than being super sexy? No problem with giving us options. And the thing is that I want to say options because I know a lot of women who play these games who want to dress their tunes to be super sexy. Why not let us have the option to go either way? I think a mistake in the thinking all around is that women want to come in and change everything, and at least from my experience, this just isn't the case. But it's hard for women to enjoy a game when everybody's acting like this cyanide and happiness cartoon at them. They're either being hypercritical or, oh my god, gamer girl, when we should be doing what's in panel 3. By the way, awesome cartoon, Matt. I guess that I see things differently because, well, mid-fight, personally, I just don't care about the gender of the person playing the game with me. Are they doing the mission? Yes. Cool. Are they at least trying to keep up in DPS or heals and tanking with their low-end gear? Yeah. Cool. I mean, hell, a lot of the times the female tunes are being played by guys anyway.
Just aim for him and we'll be good, man.
So it doesn't matter to me. Results matter, not what gender, ethnicity, religious view, or sexual preferences my teammates have. I don't get why it matters to everybody else. Well, actually, wait, that's not true. Trolls are trolls. And again, gamer is an open community, so we have to acknowledge that there's going to be some people who hate women for whatever reason. And they can put out the argument.
Dude, root that bitch! Yeah, that's totally acceptable. Really? Really? You're gonna tell me that's acceptable?
Look, man, what is unacceptable about that? There's nothing unacceptable about that. These are people. We're in America, man. This isn't North Korea. We can say what we want.
Well, yeah, you can say whatever you want, but that doesn't hold you immune for us calling you out on your bullshit. In my experience, the women that play video games just want to play video games. Just like everybody else who plays video games. What's the harm in being a gentleman? What's the harm in being classy? You know, I've been seeing a lot in the mainstream media and in the gamer press about how gamers are all misogynistic, how we all hate women. This stereotype. You want to know how to break that stereotype? We steal it back. Stay classy, gentlemen. And I can already hear a lot of people saying, well, what about Gamergate? You didn't talk about Gamergate. Yeah, you're right. I didn't talk about Gamergate. We'll save that one for next time. Bring a snack. We've got a lot to talk about.